Have you ever looked at your life and wondered why the same problems keep showing up? Different faces, different places, different years, but somehow the same pain, the same excuses, the same fear, the same disappointment. You tell yourself that this year will be different. This month will be different. Monday will be different. But then Monday comes. You wake up late. You scroll your phone. You delay your work. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Then one day you look back and realize another year disappeared. Read that again. Another year disappeared. Life didn't stop. Time didn't wait. The world didn't slow down because you weren't ready. It kept moving. The only person standing still was you. And that's the hardest truth most people refuse to hear. Your life changes the moment you stop waiting for motivation and start making decisions that hurt. Because growth hurts. Discipline hurts. Changing hurts. But staying the same hurts even more. Some of you are trapped in cycles that started years ago. Maybe your family always accepted average. Maybe everyone around you settles for less. Maybe you grew up believing success belongs to someone else. Maybe failure has become so familiar that you've started calling it comfort. But hear this carefully. Just because a cycle has lasted for years doesn't mean it deserves one more day. A cycle only has power because you keep feeding it. Every excuse feeds it. Every delay feeds it. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you give that cycle another chance to control your future. And then you wonder why nothing changes. Nothing changes because you haven't changed. People want different results while repeating the exact same actions. That's not hope. That's self-deception. You don't break a cycle by wishing. You break it by deciding. A real decision isn't something you announce. It's something you prove. Anyone can say, "I'm going to change." Millions of people say it every single day. Very few wake up the next morning and earn those words. Because words don't build dreams. Work does. Imagine where your life could be 1 year from now if you stop negotiating with your excuses. Imagine waking up knowing you kept every promise you made to yourself. Imagine becoming someone your younger self would be proud of. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. Here's something nobody likes hearing. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Not your friends. Not your family. Not luck. Not perfect timing. If you've been waiting for someone to save your future, you've already wasted too much time. The person you've been waiting for has always been staring back at you in the mirror. That's uncomfortable. Good. The truth is supposed to be uncomfortable. Comfort created the cycle. Discomfort destroys it. The moment you stop blaming your past, your circumstances, your age, your lack of confidence, or the people around you, that is the moment your future finally belongs to you. Because responsibility isn't a punishment. It's freedom. When you accept responsibility, you also accept the power to change. Today could be another ordinary day, or it can be the day everything changes. Not because something magical happened, but because you finally decided enough is enough. The cycle doesn't end when life gets easier. The cycle doesn't end when motivation arrives. The cycle doesn't end when someone believes in you. The cycle ends when you decide it ends. And once that decision is made, never look back. Now let me ask you something. How many times have you promised yourself that this time will be different? Be honest. Not with me. With yourself. How many mornings have you said, "Today is the day I change," only to end the night knowing you wasted another opportunity? You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another perfect routine. You don't need another video telling you to believe in yourself. What you need is the courage to stop lying to yourself. Because every excuse sounds reasonable until you realize it has stolen years from your life. I'm too tired. So is everyone else chasing a dream? I don't have enough time. The truth is everyone gets the same 24 hours. Some build a future with them. Others spend them making excuses. I'm waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment. There is only the moment you decide to move. The people you admire weren't fearless. They were afraid. They were uncertain. They doubted themselves. But they moved anyway. That is the difference. You think confidence comes first. It doesn't. Action comes first. Confidence is what grows after you've done the hard thing enough times. Stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is a myth. Nobody feels ready to change their life. Nobody feels ready to wake up before sunrise. Nobody feels ready to study when everyone else is relaxing. Nobody feels ready to train when their body is begging them to quit. The winners simply stop asking themselves how they feel. They ask themselves what needs to be done, and then they do it. That is discipline, not perfection, not motivation. Discipline is keeping the promise you made yesterday, even when today's version of you wants to break it. Every single day, your mind is negotiating with you. Skip today. You deserve a break. You can always start tomorrow. It sounds harmless. It sounds logical. But understand this. Every time you give in, you're training yourself to quit. You're teaching your brain that your comfort matters more than your future. Then one day you wonder why you don't trust yourself anymore. It's because you've broken too many promises to yourself. Think about that. If someone else lied to you as many times as you've lied to yourself, would you trust them? Probably not. So why should your own mind trust your words? Trust isn't built by making promises. It's built by keeping them, even the small ones. If you say you'll wake up at 6, wake up at 6. If you say you'll study for 1 hour, study for 1 hour. If you say you'll go for a run, go for the run. Stop teaching yourself that your own words don't matter. Because every kept promise builds self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not always the smartest. They're not always the most talented. They're simply the people who refuse to quit when quitting feels justified. Anyone can work when they're excited. Anyone can chase a goal when everything is going well. Character is revealed on the days when nothing feels right. When you're exhausted. When nobody is watching. When nobody is cheering. When progress feels invisible. Those are the moments that decide who you become. Success isn't built on your best days. It's built on the days you wanted to quit, but chose to continue. Remember this. The life you dream about isn't waiting on the other side of motivation. It's waiting on the other side of consistency. Every difficult choice you make today is a gift to the person you'll become tomorrow. Every excuse you make today is a debt your future self will have to pay. So ask yourself one question. When your future self looks back at this moment, will they thank you? Or will they wish you had finally decided to change? Because that answer is being written by what you choose to do today. There is something people rarely talk about. Changing your life is lonely. Not because nobody loves you, but because the moment you decide to become someone different, the old version of you starts losing its place in the world. The habits that once felt normal no longer fit. The conversations that once entertained you begin to feel empty. The people who only knew the comfortable version of you may not understand the determined version of you. And that's okay. Growth has never asked for permission. It has only asked for commitment. Some people will laugh at your goals. Some will doubt you. Some will tell you that you're aiming too high. Some will remind you of every mistake you've ever made, as if your past has the right to decide your future. Let them. Their opinion has never paid your bills. Their opinion has never built your dream. Their opinion has never changed your life. Only your actions can do that. Too many people spend their entire lives trying to convince others they can succeed. Stop doing that. You don't need to convince anyone. You need to prove it to yourself. Because at the end of the day, the battle isn't between you and the world. It's between the person you are today and the person you could become. Every morning, those two versions of you wake up together. One says, take it easy. The other says, earn your future. One wants comfort. The other wants growth. One wants to avoid pain. The other understands that pain is the price of becoming someone extraordinary. The question is simple. Which version are you feeding? Because every choice feeds one of them. Every workout you skip feeds weakness. Every hour you waste feeds regret. Every excuse feeds the life you're trying to escape. But every difficult decision feeds the future you're trying to build. People always ask what success looks like. Success doesn't always look exciting. Most days it looks boring. It looks like waking up when you don't want to. It looks like studying while everyone else is scrolling. It looks like practicing when nobody is watching. It looks like saying no to temporary pleasure because you're chasing something permanent. That's the part social media doesn't show. Everyone loves the trophy. Very few respect the thousands of invisible moments that earned it. You see the success. You don't see the mornings they wanted to quit. You see the confidence. You don't see the years of self-doubt they fought through. You see the victory. You don't see the countless failures that came before it. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's finish. They paid a price you haven't seen. Now it's your turn to pay yours. And let's be clear about something. Hard work is not punishment. Hard work is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. The problem is that too many people expect the bridge to build itself. It won't. You have to lay every brick. One decision, one habit, one disciplined day at a time. There are going to be days when you feel like nothing is changing. Days when the results are invisible. Days when you question whether it's even worth it. Those are the days that matter most. Because anyone can keep going when they're winning. The people who change their lives are the ones who keep going when it feels like they're losing. Don't chase quick results. Chase permanent change. Quick results disappear. Permanent habits stay with you for life. Every single day you have two options. Repeat yesterday, or create a tomorrow that looks nothing like it. You cannot choose both. The life you've always wanted demands a version of you that you've never been before. That means the old habits have to die. The old excuses have to die. The old mindset has to die. Because if nothing inside you changes, nothing around you will either. The cycle doesn't survive because it's powerful. It survives because people keep choosing what's familiar over what's necessary. Don't be one of those people. Be the one who ends the cycle. Not next year, not next month, not on Monday. Today, right now. Because the greatest moment to change your life isn't someday. It's the moment you stop giving yourself permission to stay the same. Look at your life for a moment. Not the life you post online. Not the life you pretend to have. The real one. The one you wake up to every single day. Ask yourself one question. If you keep living exactly the way you're living today, where will you be 1 year from now? 5 years from now? 10 years from now? That question should make you uncomfortable. Because the future isn't created by one big decision. It's created by the small decisions you repeat every single day. Every day you either build your future or slowly destroy it. There is no middle ground. You're always becoming someone. The only question is whether you're becoming the person you want to be. Most people are waiting for a breakthrough. But breakthroughs are earned through ordinary days. The days when nobody notices your effort. The days when your progress feels invisible. The days when quitting seems like the easiest option. Those are the days that separate average from exceptional. Stop chasing motivation. Motivation is temporary. It shows up when life feels easy. Discipline shows up when life feels hard. And life will get hard. There will be mornings when your body begs you to stay in bed. There will be nights when you're exhausted. There will be moments when you fail. Moments when you embarrass yourself. Moments when you question if you're good enough. Good. Because those moments are not signs that you should stop. They're signs that you're finally doing something that matters. Nothing valuable comes without resistance. A seed has to break before it becomes a tree. Steel has to face fire before it becomes strong. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Why should your life be any different? Stop asking for an easier path. Ask for the strength to keep walking. Because every challenge is asking you one question. How badly do you want the life you keep talking about? Your answer isn't found in your words. It's found in your actions. You say you want success. Then why do you protect your comfort more than your goals? You say you want freedom. Then why are you a prisoner to your excuses? You say you want to become the best version of yourself. Then why do you keep making decisions that strengthen the version you're trying to leave behind? Nobody else is making those choices for you. You are. That truth is hard, but it's also powerful. Because if your choices created your current life, your choices can create a different one. Think about the people who inspire you. The people who achieve things that once seemed impossible. They weren't given extra hours in the day. They weren't born with perfect confidence. They weren't immune to fear. They simply made one decision that most people never make. They decided that their dreams were worth more than their excuses. That's it. And then they proved that decision every single day. Not once. Not for a week. Not until it became boring. They kept proving it when nobody was watching. That's where greatness is built. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. When there is no applause, no recognition, no guarantee that your effort will pay off. You keep going anyway, because you're no longer working for today's results. You're building tomorrow's life. Remember this. Every excuse feels small in the moment. Skipping one workout doesn't seem like much. Wasting 1 hour doesn't seem like much. Delaying your goals by 1 day doesn't seem like much. But those small moments become your life. A weekday becomes a week week. A week becomes a week month. A week month becomes a week year. And one day you wake up wondering where all the time went. Time didn't disappear. You gave it away. Don't make that mistake again. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Protect your future. Because every minute you spend becoming stronger is a minute your old life loses its grip on you. The cycle is already cracking. Every disciplined choice creates another crack. Every promise you keep weakens it even more. Keep going. Don't stop now. You're closer than you think. Not because success is guaranteed, but because every day you refuse to quit, you become someone who is capable of achieving it. There comes a moment in every person's life when they have to make a choice. Not a small choice. A choice that changes everything. The choice between becoming the person they've always talked about or staying the person they've always been. That moment isn't loud. It doesn't come with music. It doesn't arrive with perfect timing. It usually comes on an ordinary day. A day when nobody else even realizes your life is about to change. Because the biggest revolutions don't happen in the world first. They happen inside your mind. The moment you stop saying, "I'll try," and start saying, "I will." Trying leaves the door open for failure. Commitment closes every exit except forward. Too many people spend years preparing to begin. They read another book, watch another video, wait for another Monday, keep telling themselves they need one more push. But information has never been the problem. You already know what you need to do. Wake up, work hard, stay disciplined, keep your promises, stop wasting time. The problem isn't knowledge. The problem is execution. You don't need another plan. You need to follow the one you've already made. Because every day you delay action, someone else is building the life you keep dreaming about. Someone else is studying while you're making excuses. Someone else is training while you're complaining. Someone else is sacrificing while you're waiting. And one day, you'll call them lucky. No, they weren't lucky. They were willing to do what you kept avoiding. Luck is often just hard work that people didn't see. Here's the truth most people spend their entire lives running from. Nobody owes you success. Nobody owes you opportunities. Nobody owes you the life you want. If you want it, earn it. That may sound harsh, but it's also freeing. Because if nobody owes you your future, nobody can take it away from you either. Your future belongs to the person who refuses to quit. Every early morning, every late night, every difficult decision, every lonely step, every failure you learn from, every time you keep going after falling down. That's where your future is being built. You don't become extraordinary in one giant moment. You become extraordinary one ordinary day at a time. One disciplined decision after another. One promise kept after another. One excuse rejected after another. Never underestimate the power of one day. One day of discipline becomes 2. 2 becomes 7. 7 become 30. 30 become a year. Then one day, people look at your life and ask, "How did you change so much?" They'll think it happened overnight, but you'll know the truth. It happened one choice at a time. That's how cycles are broken. Not with giant leaps, with consistent steps. Even when those steps are small, even when they're difficult, even when nobody notices. Because you aren't building a life to impress people. You're building a life that makes you proud every time you look in the mirror. So stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for confidence. Stop asking whether you're ready. You become ready by doing. You become stronger by struggling. You become wiser by failing. You become unstoppable by refusing to stay down. One day, your story will inspire someone else. Not because your journey was easy, but because you refuse to let your circumstances write the ending. When that day comes, you'll realize something incredible. The pain that almost broke you was the same pain that built you. The setbacks that made you question yourself were the same setbacks that made you resilient. The failures you wanted to hide became the foundation of your success. Everything changes when you stop asking life to be easier and start demanding more from yourself. So make yourself a promise today. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more living below your potential. This chapter ends here. The version of you that always quit ends here. The version of you that always settled ends here. The version of you that was controlled by fear ends here. Because from this moment forward, you don't just talk about changing your life, you prove it. Before you leave this video, I want you to remember one thing. Years from now, you won't remember the comfort you chose. You won't remember the extra hour you spent scrolling. You won't remember the excuses that felt so convincing. But you will remember the day you finally decided to take control of your life. Maybe that day is today. Right now, there are two versions of your future waiting for you. One is built by excuses. The other is built by action. One leads to regret. The other leads to pride. One keeps repeating the same cycle. The other destroys it forever. The choice has always been yours. Life doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to your actions. You can have the greatest dreams in the world, but dreams without discipline are nothing more than wishes. Stop wishing. Start building. There will be people who tell you to slow down. People who say you're working too hard. People who won't understand why you've changed. Smile, thank them, and keep moving. Because they don't have to live with the consequences of your choices. You do. At the end of your life, nobody else will answer for the opportunities you wasted. Nobody else will answer for the talent you buried. Nobody else will answer for the dreams you abandoned. You will. That's why today matters. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today, you have another chance. Another sunrise. Another opportunity to become someone stronger than you were yesterday. Don't waste it. Your past may explain where you came from, but it does not have permission to decide where you're going. You're not trapped by yesterday unless you keep choosing yesterday. Read that again. You are not trapped by yesterday unless you keep choosing yesterday. Every morning is a new vote for the person you want to become. Vote wisely. One disciplined choice. 1 hour of focused work. One workout. One chapter. One skill learned. One promise kept. These things seem small, but small actions repeated over months and years create extraordinary lives. Never underestimate consistency. People love dramatic transformations because they only see the ending. They don't see the thousands of quiet decisions that created it. Be willing to make those quiet decisions. Be willing to do the work that nobody applauds. Be willing to keep going when the excitement disappears. Because that's where real transformation happens. Remember, the strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who refuse to surrender to their struggles. Fall if you must. Fail if you must. Get rejected if you must. Start over if you must. But never stay on the ground. Stand up one more time. Fight one more round. Take one more step. That one step could be the beginning of a completely different life. When you wake up tomorrow morning, don't ask yourself if you feel motivated. Ask yourself one question. What kind of person am I becoming with the choices I make today? Then let your actions answer, not your words. Because in the end, people won't remember what you plan to do. They'll remember what you actually did. And more importantly, you'll remember. You'll either look back with pride because you had the courage to change, or you'll look back with regret because you kept waiting for a moment that never came. Don't let regret become your story. Let discipline become your identity. Let consistency become your reputation. Let hard work become your language. And let your results speak so loudly that your excuses are never heard again. The cycle ends when you decide it ends. Not because life became easier, not because the road became smoother, but because you finally became stronger than the excuses that once controlled you. If this message spoke to you, and if you're serious about becoming the person you know you're capable of becoming, I'd love for you to join this community by subscribing. If this video gave you even one reason to get up and fight for your future, leave a like so I know it reached someone who needed it. And I'd really love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me what cycle you're ending today and what promise you're making to yourself. Your words might become the reason someone else refuses to give up. If you know someone who's stuck in the same cycle, share this video with them. It could be the message that helps them make the decision they've been avoiding. Until next time, remember this. Your future is watching every decision you make. Make it proud. Now, go earn the life you keep dreaming about.